But first and foremost, I want to say that we're about 30 hours from CL&P's target of 99% power restoration in each town by midnight Sunday. As it stands right now, we're approximately 175,000 customers without power. For CL&P to meet its self-imposed goal, and I certainly hope that they can, they need to begin restoring power at about 5,500 customers per hour. That's a much higher rate than they've been able to do so far. I've said for several days that I'm skeptical about the possibility of them reaching the goal, so I'm now becoming increasingly skeptical by the hour. So, by 10 a.m. tomorrow, I want to see the following things from CL&P, and it has been relayed to them. A restoration schedule broken down town by hour. If at 10 a.m. tomorrow CL&P knows it's not going to meet its goal, I want to know that, and the people of Connecticut deserve to know that, and they deserve to know when the goal will be met. And I want to know approximately when the 1% in each town that they're talking about not being able to be connected can otherwise expect to be connected. The documents I'm asking for I will receive, and I will distribute them to you tomorrow. Having said all of that, I know that there are a lot of people out there working very hard. We have a large number of Army units out supporting local governments. In fact, 426 Army personnel are on the streets of Connecticut as we speak. There are 14 crews that have been made available to towns by the DOT. That will continue tomorrow, as will the Army support. We will have 59 shelters, somewhere between 51 and 59 shelters open tonight throughout the state. And again, I remind everyone to be careful of the CO. No engine should be running in a house that's not powered by electricity. With that, I'll take a few questions, Governor, and then obviously CL&P can answer theirs.
I assume that your 10 a.m. request to them on restoration town by town is done so that we can present this at 12 noon on radio and television and the internet so people can make plans.
That's absolutely the case. And listen, I want them to meet this deadline, but at 31 hours from that deadline, with 175,000 customers still out, I am skeptical, and so I want people to be able to plan, and I want that information as soon as possible, but no later than 10 a.m. tomorrow. Now, listen, they need to work through the night. They need to hold their crews. They need to have as many people on the streets of Connecticut as humanly possible for the next 31 hours to meet that goal. But I also need to be able to advise the people of Connecticut if there's going to be a failure to meet the deadline that they themselves set.
Now, there also has been an urgent call from the town manager in Tolland. They have an elderly housing complex with no power and no generator. Have you been told about that in any of your conference calls?
Yep, and I think we're in the process of taking care of that one. We also are the largest dairy farm in the state. Generator is about to fail them, so we're dispatching a large unit out there. As well.
To milk the cows, obviously.
Yeah, well, yeah. You know, we have to take care of it and to assure the milk supply in the state of Connecticut.
Right. There's been a lot of attention about the Farmington Valley and Avon and Simsbury and Farmington, but I got a number of requests from people today wanting to know if there's been help to Granby and the Granbys.
You know, we can give you a map, which we have in the other room, or if you want to come in and see it,
the guard was in Granby today?
We have units everywhere. What we did, based on the telephone call that I held and Lieutenant Governor held with municipalities, we actually contacted every community that had more than 50% outage as of 12 o'clock and asked them what we could do for them. I will tell you that in almost all cases, the streets are cleared except for where there are wires. And we can't help them clear until we have a crew to clear the wires. Having said that, the military has done an absolutely stupendous job. The DOT, having completed its main mission with respect to state roads, has also done a great job. So we're lending efforts everywhere we can. Anyone else for me? Yes?
Governor, CL&P will have its own answers, but in your understanding, Why are they falling behind the schedule you'd like to see?
Well, you know, listen, there was a relatively flat response for the first 48 hours. The explanation, I suppose, for that is that safety was driving that. So I think they've been behind the 8 ball for a period of time. As much as we want to support and be supportive of CL&P, it's clear that for the last several days they have failed to meet their own imposed goals on a day-by-day basis, and therefore I've taken the steps which I've outlined for you today. Anyone else? I'll turn it over to Mr. Butler. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you. Well, to start off, I do want to thank the Governor, and I heard his message loud and clear. We have teams working on it. We have continued to make solid progress restoring customers affected by this storm. You know, however, I must say, I realize that provides little satisfaction to those of our customers who are still out of power today. We have now restored power to over 700,000 customers here in the state of Connecticut. Our focus continues to be on completing road clearing work, restoring power to critical customers, and restoring power to 174,150 customers that are currently out of power. We now have 2,174 crews working, which includes 1,402 line crews and 771 tree crews. In addition, we have more than 200 service crews out there reconnecting customers' services. You know, again, we are making progress. I know many of you are very frustrated. I mean, I realize it's been a long week. It's been a long week for everybody here in Connecticut. This was a historic event. I welcome the reviews that the governor has talked about. We'll certainly be doing our own reviews. But when you look at the restoration rate of what we've accomplished in this storm, we're at a faster pace of restoring customers than we did during Tropical Storm Irene. We continue to focus on having power restored to 99% of the customers tomorrow night. It is a challenge. It was when we set that goal, I want everybody to understand, it was a self-set goal that CL&P put there. That's because we wanted to restore power to our customers as quickly as possible. This wasn't a number that the governor gave us or anybody else. This is one that we put out there and have been working, working very, very hard. That the men and women that are supporting this effort have done an unbelievable job. You know, the damage is extensive in many parts of the state, especially in the central part where you see the darker colors. If any of the reporters here have gone out there and seen that, the devastation is unbelievable. It does look like a war zone in many parts of this state. That said, our focus, self-imposed, was to restore power to 99% of our customers by tomorrow night. One comment that I want to reinforce this evening that I mentioned, we are waiving late fees for the month of November. I think it is November. With that, I will answer a few questions.
Can you do 5,500 per hour, and how are you going to be able to do that?
We have more crews on the property than we've ever had before, and their focus is to get that work done. We got teams out there. I've had senior management out. There has been towns that have raised issues today, and we've sent people out there to meet with the first select persons or the mayors to ensure that we're not only coordinating with them, but we're also coordinating. And I can't thank the governor enough for making the National Guard available to support the road clearing. We're going to push.
But when you talk to the crews out there, and I know we're not supposed to, but in our business we're busybodies and we're nosy and we push our way around. They will tell you they're not supposed to say, but when they hear about this midnight Sunday, they shake their heads and roll their eyes and say, no, it's going to be Tuesday or Wednesday.
We will keep pushing. We brought more crews in today. We actually believe there's more crews coming in later this afternoon. All those people will be available. We'll look at where we're at and we'll make the game plan as the governor asks.
You can't work through the night. I mean,
some people do work through the night.
They will.
I mean, the whole time we've worked through the night. We don't work 24, 36 hours.
Right.
But and then try to bring people back right away. But we're looking at, and this started before I came down to this conference this afternoon. What do we need to accomplish to get to that 99% by tomorrow night? Mm-hmm. And we have 30 hours to get there, and that is our goal, is to get to that 99%.
Mr. Butler, I have a union official telling me that you're allowing some of your workers to work 20 hours on and 8 off. That seems to go against your safety policy in the past.
No, And it's interesting, all the things that all of you get back through the union officials. We work employees all the time more than 16 hours when it's not a multi-day event. And it's not untypical of us, as we get to the end of an event, to ask for volunteers to see if they want to work beyond the 16 hours, because we know we're not going to have to, and they'll still get the 18 hours or 8-hour rest after that. But we do at times, any single day storm, our employees routinely work more than 16 hours. In a multi-day event, I just don't believe you can work day after day 20 hours. As we get to an end event, if we want to put a push on, we will ask for volunteers if they think they can. If they work a 20-hour shift, though, they will get an 8-hour break after that.
Are there some working 20 hours then?
Not tonight, there isn't.
Because why were, I have letters that say that there were some of your workers who were reprimanded and suspended for a day without pay for skipping their meal breaks during Irene.
That's an issue between us and the union. I'll discuss that with the union at any time they'd like to. Now, I've said it before. I'm not going to discuss union issues through the media. I'll be happy to meet face-to-face with the union leadership. Couple more. This young lady had a question.
Well, just talking about CL&P's maintenance budget, do you know if the numbers have gone down this year? We pulled up some annual reports, and it seems like the numbers have significantly increased in the past 2-3 years.
They have increased, and we had.
They've increased?
Our costs?
We've seen numbers, maintenance budget decrease.
You got to look at the total amount spent, and I don't have the information. I'll be happy to share that with you on what we spent. A couple more.
Mr. Butler.
Yes, sir.
There's nothing more deflating for the residents, the town officials, and the crews we speak with than driving by and seeing a large number of crews in a parking lot. Town officials, from what they understand, these crews get called out to work at 6 a.m. and they're stationed and ready to go. But CL&P does not hold their operational planning meetings until 8 a.m., and those crews do not get sent out until after that meeting, which is why they're seeing crews sitting there for 4 or 5 hours. Is that true? And if it is, why are these operational planning meetings not happening at midnight so they can get right out at 6?
Well, we put our work plans together through the night. We do have safety meetings and briefings in the morning, and then the crews go to work. So if you got specific locations of where there's a question been raised, I'll be happy to take that information and get a response. That issue came up with a number of towns today. We followed up on it. In some places, there are staging areas, and others there has. I didn't hear the response back on one site where there's a. If you have specific information, I'll be happy to address it. Make sure you get that information.
East Granby,
Okay.
in Summers, in Stafford, in Windsor.
Well, Summers is interesting because I actually talked to the first selectman up there, and they said they had no crews. So
They had crews this morning, but they have no crews on the streets.
Okay, we'll take that offline. I have one more question, and then
Mr. Butler, can you answer the question as to what those crews are doing for 4 or 5 hours?
I'm not aware they are sitting there for 4 or 5 hours. So if you give me the specifics, I will have the team follow.
In Summers today on South Road, starting at 6 o'clock in the morning until at least 10 o'clock, there were a half dozen crews or more that were...
If you would give that with the people here, I will take that information and we'll get you a response. I don't have the information here. I've followed up on other ones to ensure that is not taking place. So we'll be happy to follow up on it. One last question.
When you're saying 99% restoration, are you talking town to town, or...
That was the goal. Is
that still the goal?
Yes.
Okay.
That is what we're striving to achieve through tonight and through tomorrow. As the governor said, it was a goal that we established for ourselves to have 99% of the customers in all towns restored by midnight tomorrow night.
We've also been getting a lot of calls to our newsroom with people saying that, according to CL&P records, their power's back on, but there's no lights on in their home. So since the records say power's on, no crews are coming by, so more days are getting wasted when they're still in the dark. Can you talk about miscommunication? What's going on?
Well, it's one thing that's always important is to make sure that customers that have perhaps neighbors that have been their power's back on, if you're a single customer and your neighborhood's been installed or re-energized, please call us. Let us know that you're still on a power, because if you hadn't called before and we restore your area, then when all the power comes back on, we're assuming you've been restored as well. So if your area is re-energized and you still don't have power, please call us as soon as possible. That's what the 200-plus service crews are here for, is to respond to those individual services so we can get them reconnected as soon as possible.
Right. Unlike the meters, which you have some electronic way to read, you can't tell if someone's power is out. They have to call you. That's the only way, right?
That's correct.
Or do it on the website.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.